In my experience, I have seen one-sided polygamy where the man is only allowed to have other spouses and not the wife. I have seen that this typically leads to women being unhappy in this type of dynamic. My name is Asha Sekhmet, and I am a Tantra practitioner, a spiritual educator, and I do work particularly in polygamy, community, and sovereign tribalism. So I want to just talk about my experience, and I want to frame this from I started with sisterhood, women coming together in a community, organizing and pairing up with men. So that is only one aspect of a polygamous tribal sovereign community. That's only one part of it. So if you were to go to a community and you observed that, oh, like it looks like they're practicing, the men have multiple wives, but you don't really understand what the family structures they actually practice. You do not know if the women have other intimate lovers or intimate relationships with other men in the community. Like that, you would have to be in the community to really understand how they operate their marriage and relationships. In modern times, I have seen one-sided polygamy fail because it is not reciprocal. So we're talking about a day and time in which women have freedom of choice. Why would any woman opt into being forced into a dynamic in which she's unhappy? So let me just talk about a personal experience that I had. I was consulting a couple who have done polygamy, and the first wife she came from a different part of the world that was not in the US. So she grew up in a community that practiced one-sided polygamy, where the young girls maybe turn 12, 13, they get married off to the men, and then they practice one-sided polygamy. And she was just very unhappy. I could just see her being emotionally unavailable. And I seen this as a transgenerational thing where they just become numb. And she described the dynamic to me. She described what it was like. She's like, oh, you just hand them off. Right. So it's what I'm talking about here. If it's one-sided polygamy, if a man is saying that I'm only going to do polygamy, I'm only going to have multiple spouses and none of my wives can, that is treating your wives like property. And that's what it comes down to. She basically shared with me what the result of doing that after so many generations. You lose the spirit of it. You lose the love in the community and tribalism in it. And it just becomes misogyny. It becomes patriarchy, right? And so it's a deeper aspect that we need to question ourselves in saying that, what is the purpose of polygamy? The purpose of polygamy is not so one person just have multiple spouses and to engage in their sexual desires. That's not why polygamy exists. Polygamy is spiritual. Polygamy is so that every individual in the family structure evolves spiritually. So this means that to be with one person for your entire life, there could be a limitation of your growth and development. I said could be because it depends on your community. That's why I'm very big on that. If we're talking about the terms like polygyny, polyandry, those are not communities. Those are marital systems. So that means based on whatever community And the faith-based system that you have will determine the type of human tribal relationships that you have. This could even be monogamy if that fits your community and your faith-based system. So it's about what serves the needs of your community. And then in that way, that's how you're able to make sure that each individual is evolving. So if we're talking about with my community, that this is an assignment from the Most High. This was my calling in life, was to do this. In my initiations, I learned that humans are able to evolve through the opposite sex. So the family structure that would look the most similar to what I was taught in my initiations would be polyamory. So polyamory is that it's having intimate relationships with the opposite sex, and for both sides. So for men and women coming together doing that. So this is how you can get a sovereign community for what my purpose is and what I'm building. So it's for like-minded people. This is not to tell someone else that what they're doing is wrong, what their communities is doing is wrong. I respect all communities, religions, and ways of life. But I also have the right to have my purpose and my calling in life, which is to create a sovereign community that's based on a spiritual life system, becoming closer to the Creator without strict religious doctrine. And it's based on natural planetary cycles. It's based on natural law. So we deal with the law of reciprocity. So one-sided polygamy does not uphold the laws that is actually meant for my community. So I started with that because, of course, as a woman, I understood that. Like, I understood and knew how to engage in those kind of conversations with women. And then over time, I'm continuing to receive downloads from the Most High, and through my own work with men in my community, I'm seeing this in real time. So let's talk about, so this is how you actually build a culture. So a culture, and I heard this from Yaki. I saw a video from Yaki, Billy Carson, and 19 Keys, where Yaki was describing that culture means to cultivate solutions for a community. So this is how you build a culture. Okay, so I'm just working on that. So back on the main topic of women being unhappy in one-sided polygamy. There is a man that I watch his content. He does really good work for polyamory. I remember him sharing in a video that he used to desire polygyny. And then he said that he had some type of spiritual awakening where he observed that in most of these communities, and I'm just paraphrasing, he was saying that the women typically in these communities who just practice this one-sided polygamy, where they're just married to the husband and they're not able to engage in intimate relationships with other men, he said that they were typically unhappy. And he said that was just not a reality he wanted to see for himself, where he would go out and work and his wives are at home, and then he come home and they're not happy, right? Emotionally unavailable, right? And we're assuming that the women are heterosexual women, so they're not attracted to each other, right? So we're talking about a dynamic like that. They're attracted to men. So where this comes is some men have difficulties understanding, the deeper parts of how to, it's uncomfortable, right? Because it is very uncomfortable to talk about, because maybe you could see that, like, that's right. Okay, I can understand that, but that's very uncomfortable. Like, how can I see myself doing, like, sharing my wife with another man? And, so I understand that, like, that's the whole purpose of this work and being able to learn and just continue to learn and get more information, and then you can choose, anyone can choose what's the right path for them, so I just wanted to frame that to say that is why I am where I am today, because what I was taught in my initiations is a spiritual life system. I do not practice polygamy based on a religious doctrine. So this means that polygamy is spiritual for me and like-minded souls. Polygamy is spiritual. This means we are not just getting together off of animal-like nature or survival. This means that we are coming together in polyamory to thrive as human beings, so that we can connect to our God-like nature, so that we can become God on earth. We can become like God. So that is our faith-based system. And I just wanted to make sure that this is clear. Like, if this aligns with you, if it resonates with you, then we're here. This is what my life purpose is for us, bring us all together in an interconnected way, because we can help each other evolve. We can help each other align with our purposes and live out our life on this earth the way that we're supposed to, and transcend our humanity, right? So I just wanted to talk about that, because I do care about women's freedom of choice. I do care about women's happiness and fulfillment in life in my community. And I do not believe in any one-sided anything. I'm about family, community, and culture. So I believe that in that way, each member of my community have a right of reciprocity, and including myself. So I also want to say, this is my opinion, just as an oracle. I believe that having one-sided polygamy is what causes or offsets feminism, because women will then, after so many generations, begin to hate and resent men. So then they're going to put that off on what? The next generation of men. And then after so long, you can imagine, right, the consequences that comes with that type of unbalanced family. Because the reality is that there is a law in this universe that's called cause and effect. Whatever you dish out, you get back. So that means that if you have the predisposition that you are wanting to be polygamous because you want to be polygamous and none of your wives can be polygamous, you're going to get back what you dish out. Okay? So that was the last part of what I wanted to say. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. And I just wanted to add that this is how I would define success, because I did have someone reach out to me and say, this family structure is practiced and it's been practiced. But again, that's not just, you're observing one thing from the outside in. So you're looking at it from an American mind. If you're looking at it from an American mind, then of course you're only going to see one thing, because American mindset is dichotomous thinking. You can't even see the interconnectedness of a community. Why? Well, there's borders in community. Why would someone tell you all that information? That doesn't make sense. Did you go visit these places yourself and learn their language and spent extensive time with these people? No. Okay. So the point is, the way that I would define success would be for both the wives, the men, the children, everyone is happy, fulfilled, and living out their purpose. Women have souls just like men have souls. Women have a right to evolve their souls just like men have the right to evolve their souls. Okay, so let me know your thoughts in the comments. And if you want to book a one-on-one session with me, you can do so at www.ashasekhmet.com.